Welcome to the session, friends. And in today's session, we are going to focus on one of the important aspects, and that is nothing but sentence structuring. Sentence structuring is very, very essential because in order to make your statement more understandable, more relatable, the shorter sentences you frame, it is going to work amazingly for you. So in sentence structuring, we need to know how should be the flow of a sentence. Always remember the 5 steps that are going to make you absolutely fluent in the language of English at English Gyan is first is watch the session that is there in the English Gyan application. Everything is already mentioned in the application. You can watch and learn from the app and participate in all the Telegram activities. Second, live sessions are for practice where I take up a topic, I explain you that topic, I give you vocabulary and I make you interact in a small group of 3 to 4. Make vocabulary notes. Whenever you come for this session, it is very important for you to have a dedicated place where you can sit. Feel free to make notes, jot down important points, the takeaways from the session. Interact when a breakout room is assigned to you all. You need to join that particular room so that you can interact. And every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you are going to be getting a video assignment. You're expected to post your videos on the same. Now, 3 aspects of a sentence. It is very important that you know right away from today itself that whenever you want to frame a statement, अगर जब भी आपको इंग्लिश में स्टेटमेंट फ्रेम करना है, it should be short and simple. Now, अभी कैसे पता चलेगा? How will we be able to understand if your statement is short and simple? By knowing this funda, that your statement should have only and only these 3 things. Entire literature, spoken English is dependent on these 3 parameters. First comes the subject, next comes the verb, and last but not the least is the object. Whatever sentences I am making now, they are short and simple. Because they are short and simple, you are able to understand them clearly. So subject, verb and object. Now, when I say, जब भी आपको एक email draft करना होता है, we get confused. अरे, how to start an email? What kind of sentences should we frame? When you want to speak to your seniors, when you want to speak to your colleagues in English, you have lot of desire. मन में इच्छा तो बहुत है कि बात करनी है. But you always start thinking, what if I fumble? What if I forget something? What if I use an incorrect grammar? So this session, after this session, you're going to be super duper confident in framing a statement because this session is going to give you a lot of clarity. First is subject. What is a subject? किसके बारे में आप पूरे statement में बात कर रहे हो? That should come first. For example, if I'm talking about myself, so I will say I. If I'm talking about my sister, I will say my sister. Subject is जिस किसी चीज या व्यक्ति या वस्तु के बारे में आप बात करते हो. You know, for example, I am a girl. I'm talking about myself. So I becomes the subject. My family is good. So over here, I'm talking about my family. So my family becomes a subject. So start of the statement में आप जिसके बारे में बात कर रहे हो, that should come. The phone is nice. So in the statement, I'm talking about my phone. So subject is about whom are you talking in the statement. Most important, I repeat, another most important part is verb. Verb is nothing but action. Any activity you do is called a verb. There cannot be a statement in grammar without a verb. Verb के बगैर statement बन ही नहीं सकता. So verbs meaning action. I read a book. Subject के बाद जो आता है वो होता है verb. And verb changes with time. For example, I go to office. ये मैं रोज करती हूँ या करता हूँ. I go to office. But if I talk about yesterday, I will say I went to office. तो go का क्या हो जाएगा? Went. So this is how a verb changes. You learn English, learn is the verb. They know English, know is the verb. He plays, plays becomes the verb. He thinks, thinks becomes the verb. Next is works, works becomes the verb. So there cannot be a statement in grammar without a verb. There are many types of verbs. Three that you always need to remember is V1, V2, V3. A list of 1000 verbs. You need to know this list of 1000 verbs. You need to go through this because this will make things very, very easy for you. Three forms are V1, V2, V3. V1 is simple present tense, something that I do, you do generally. I wake up, I brush my teeth, I take a bath, I get ready. This is simple present. V2 is simple past, something that happened yesterday, last week. And V3 is past participle. So V1, V2 and V3. Regular words, verbs जिसके end में ed आता है are called regular verbs. Irregular verbs जिनके end में ed नहीं आता. Correct? And next, last but not the least, is an object. Object is something that gives complete meaning to your statement. I am at home. In this statement, I is the subject. Correct? I is the subject. And at the end of the statement, there is home. जो statement के आखिर में आता है, that becomes an object. The bus goes to the station. So something that gives meaning to the statement is the word station. Station becomes an object. I dream about good things. So I is the subject. Dream is the verb about good things. The remaining part of the statement is your object. So object is something that gives complete meaning to your statement. So it's very, very important that you know this. Now, when I say sentence is nothing but subject plus verb plus object, I dream big. So what is the subject in the statement? You can write in the chat box. I dream big. What is the subject? मैं किसके बारे में बात कर रही हूँ? I dream big. Yes. So over here, I'm waiting for your answers in the chat box. Okay. Dream is not the subject. Dream subject नहीं है. I dream big. मैं मेरे बारे में बात कर रही हूँ. I'm talking about myself. So I becomes the subject. Remember, I, that's okay. I is the subject. Next part of the statement, that is verb. Dream is the verb. Subject is I. The verb is dream. क्योंकि dream का past आप कर सकते हो. Dream, dreamt, dreamt. There are two ways. Dreamt, dreamt भी हो सकता है और dreamed भी हो सकता है. You can put an ed to it or a t to it. That's okay. And big is an object. So I dream big. I is the subject. Dream is the verb. They becomes an object. If I give you another example, people drive fast. Can you tell me what is the subject in the statement? People drive fast. About whom am I talking in the statement? Yes, in the statement, I'm talking about people. Correct? So the subject is people. Now, what is the verb in the statement? Can you think of what is the verb? Remember, verb wo hoga jo change hoga. Yes, the verb in the statement is drive. Action hai. Verbs are nothing but action. Okay? Can you tell me what is the past of drive? Drive ka past kya hoga? What is the past of drive? Yes, the past of drive is, no, it's drove. Drive, drove, driven. V1, V2, V3. So I tell you, to become fluent, it is very important for you all to go through the list of 1000 verbs that is already given to you. Correct? So the verb is drive and the remaining part becomes your object. If I give you another example, that is, my sister works in a bank. Can you tell me what is the subject in the statement? About whom am I talking in this statement? My sister works in a bank. In this statement, I'm talking about my sister. It's not only about my, meri behen. Correct? So my sister becomes your subject. After the subject comes the verb, that is action. So what is the action? Yes, works is the action, that is verb. And the remaining part of the statement, jo bhi bachta hai, that entire thing is an object. Correct? In a bank. So in is a preposition, or is an article, bank is an object. So that way. Next, the fourth example, the gate closes at 9 p.m. Can you tell me what is the subject in the statement? When I say the gate closes at 9 p.m., what is the subject in the statement? Yes, in the statement, I'm talking about gate. Correct. I'm talking about gate in the statement. Next, verb. What is the verb? Yes, the verb in the statement is closes. The verb in the statement is closes. And the remaining part becomes your object. And if I give you the last example, I understand the concept. Can you tell me what is the subject in the statement? About whom am I talking about? I understand the concept. Yes, I'm talking about myself. After the subject comes the verb. What is the verb in the statement? Yes, understand is the verb. And the remaining part is your object. Can you tell me what is the past of understand? What is the past of understand? Yes. So the concept becomes the object. Understand, understood is the past. So understanding everyone, this is V1, this is V2, this is, this is how you frame a statement with subject, verb, and object. So one thing that you should have on your mind is, from today, whenever you want to speak in English, in your mind, you have to be very sure that I'm going to frame short and simple statements. And in my every statement, there has to be a subject, a verb, and object, or kuch bhi nahi. And when you are very focused that this is how you are expected to make your statement, then things will become very, very easy for you. This is what sentence structuring is all about, and it is very important. Remember, if you make long sentences, things are going to be very difficult. If you make short and simple statement, they are not only going to be easy, but you will become comfortable with the language. You will start loving the language. You will not have the fear of the language. And not having the fear is very important. So sentence structuring, this is how you're going to frame sentences. And that's very, very essential. Now we are going to go to the vocabulary part. In the vocabulary part, this picture shows strange, ajeeb. Correct? This man looks really strange. Another word for strange that you can use is eccentric. Another word for strange is eccentric. The sentence, I'll give you a sample statement. Our basketball coach has a few dash habits. Ajeeb habits. Ajeeb aadate. Strange ki jagah you will say eccentric habits. Okay, our basketball coach or anybody. If you want to speak about your neighbor, my neighbor has eccentric habits. That is nothing but strange habits. Next, this picture, correct? This picture shows that it is very cloudy. Badal chaye hue hai, correct? So another word for cloudy is murky. I repeat, another word for cloudy is murky. Rather than saying the weather is cloudy, you can say the weather is murky. This shows garbage, that is trash. Instead of trash, you can say debris. I guess we have learned this word only in science, in our science subjects, but you can use that in your conversations. Debris is nothing but place where all the garbage is collected and dumped. Correct? This picture shows that this person is not saying good things, criticizing. Correct? Hamesha negative bolna, criticize karna, demotivate karna. That is censure. Another word is censure. Criticize is nothing but to censure. And this room looks really unkempt. Unkempt is nothing but messy. ये रूम बहुत मेसी है, करेक्ट? कभी कभी हमारे घर भी बहुत मेसी होते हैं जब भी मेहमान आ जाते हैं, and after the guests leave, if you see, the room is really messy. So rather than saying messy, you can say unkempt. Unkempt is nothing but messy. So now we are going to do a vocabulary quiz. We have learned words like censure, cloudy, eccentric, unkempt, correct? The garden and debris also. So the garden was filled with dash. What do you think can be the answer for this? The garden was filled with dash. So the garden was filled with, according to you, the garden was filled with. So the garden was filled with trash. Another word for trash that we have learned is, I'm waiting for your answers in the chat box. Another word for trash that you have learned is debris. Correct. Our basketball coach is dash. Ajeeb, strange. Another word for strange, what will come? Unkempt, eccentric, cloudy, censure, or debris? Okay. Next, the room was dash. Agar mujhe कहना है the room was messy, what word can I use for messy? Another word for messy that we learned is, yes, correct, unkempt. Unkempt is nothing but messy. Parents should not dash their children. What is the correct word according to you? Parents should not dash their children. Yes, censure, censure. Next, the weather is dash. Which word have you learned for cloudy? Which word have you learned for cloudy? Yes. Okay. Let's have a look at the answers. First, the garden was filled with debris. A basketball coach is eccentric, that is strange. The room was unkempt. Parents should not censure their children. The weather is murky. Murky. M-U-R-K-Y. Murky. Okay, confident with the vocabulary? Okay. Now let's go to the interaction part. Before that, not to forget, if you follow these 5 steps, I take the guarantee of your fluency. But if you do not follow these 5 steps, it is not possible for you to become fluent. So in order to become fluent, it is important to follow the 5 steps. 5 में से 4 तो मैं यही करवा लेती हूँ, सिर्फ एक आपके लिए बचता है. Correct? First, watch the session that is already given, access दिया हुआ है. Live session you are coming, vocabulary I'm giving you, I'm making you interact. After this, only one thing that is left for you is the 5th step, that is to record and upload your videos. If you follow this religiously, it is going to make you absolutely fluent. But एक दिन भी अगर आपने नहीं किया या आपने कोई भी assignment नहीं किया, things will become difficult for you. But अगर आपने किया तो ये मेरी guarantee है that you're going to become. So these are the 5 steps. Now going to the interaction part. As we have learned today that we are going to frame only and only short and simple statements. हमें कुछ बड़े-बड़े statements नहीं बनाने. Correct? So with these short and simple sentences, today we are going to try and speak about our family, our friends and our relatives. हम लोग interact करेंगे, हमारी family के बारे में कुछ बताएंगे, हमारे friends के बारे में कुछ बताएंगे, relatives के बारे में कुछ बताएंगे. No need to worry, I'm going to help you कैसे आपको बोलना है. So when you talk about, see, whenever you will enter the breakout room, it's very important for you to first start with your introduction. Excuse me. Not only in your breakout rooms, whenever you meet someone, it is important for you to start with your introduction. Your name, your place, your qualification, your hobbies, correct? Next, how many members are there in your family? Name them. So for example, in my family, there are 5 members. That is what people say, but you can start saying, I'm blessed with 5 beautiful souls in my family. My father, my mother, XYZ, whoever is there in your family. Correct? Describe each of them in your family. For example, my father's name is XYZ. His nature is XYZ. The good things about him are these, and things that I want him to improve on are these. So for each member, you're going to start with their nature, good things, and things that you want them to improve on. whom are you close to in your family? Correct. There has to be someone with whom you share that very, very special bond. Of course, with everyone in your family, you share a bond, a very special bond. But ek koi hota hai, that this is that one family member. So whom are you close to in your family? Now, going to your friend, you are going to describe your friend. First, do you have a best friend? Who is your best friend? What are the best qualities in your best friend? Correct. So I have a best friend. My best friend's name is XYZ. The things that I like about him or her are XYZ. And then we are going to speak about how many relatives do you have. Abhi, sometimes people get confused कि mama के side के relatives को क्या बोलते हैं, पापा के side के relatives को क्या बोलते हैं. तो mama के side को बोलेंगे maternal and पापा के side को बोलेंगे paternal. So maternal, paternal. That way. Describe your favorite relative. आपके cousin में से कोई हो सकता है. Correct. His or her name, कहाँ वो रहते हैं, what is their qualification, what are their hobbies. Correct. Why is that person, why is that relative your favorite? And 3 best things about your relative. Who inspires you? आपका inspiration कौन है and why? So this is how we are going to speak about our family, our friends, and our relatives. And we are not going to forget that your sentence formation should be very short and simple. Subject, verb, and object. This is going to make things very, very easy. The chain that you are going to use, the pattern, thinking pattern क्या होना चाहिए? Think, speak, think, speak. पहले सोचेंगे, फिर बोलेंगे, दोबारा सोचेंगे, दोबारा बोलेंगे, फिर बोलेंगे. अभी तक हम क्या यूज करते आए हैं? Speak, think. बोलने के बाद हमें अफसोस होता है, अरे गलत बोला. So breakout rooms are for practice. You're expected to just relax yourself. Correct? It means relax mentally. Don't take any kind of pressure and just speak. This is how we are going to speak about our family, friends, and relatives. So what we have done for the day is we have divided the session into 3 parts. First, we did grammar, where we learned sentence structuring. Then I gave you 5 vocabulary words. जिसपे हमने vocabulary quiz भी की. And last but not the least, now we are going to speak. Because fluency तभी आएगी when you are given a chance to speak. So over here, you are given a chance to go and speak in your breakout rooms. And that is how it is going to help you all.